Your life is not hard because you are cursed. It is hard because you keep asking tomorrow to carry what today refused to lift. That is the truth most people feel, but almost nobody says out loud. The gap between the life you want and the life you live is not luck, not talent, not timing. And if a part of you is still alive enough to hear the truth and rise with it, then subscribe to this voice and stay close, because some words do not entertain you, they rescue you. It is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. Say it again until the lazy part of your mind gets nervous. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. I know you are tired. I know you are frustrated. I know what it feels like to watch other people move ahead while you keep telling yourself you will get serious next week, next month, next year. I know what it feels like to lie in bed and feel the weight in your chest because deep down you know you are capable of more. And that pain is real. Let that settle in. But here comes the hard part. The pain is real, and still, the excuses are yours. The fear is real, and still, the delay is yours. The dream is real, and still, the work is yours. No one is coming to wake you up. No one is coming to force you to be disciplined. No one is coming to build your future. The person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror. Think about that. We love to talk about success like it is some mountain far away, some shining city on a hill, some secret club only the lucky can enter. But success is not magic. Success is built like a bridge. One plank, then one more plank, then one more. A small promise kept, a small choice made, a small action repeated. That is how you cross. Not in one giant leap, not in one perfect day, not in one burst of motivation, but in the quiet, often boring, deeply powerful act of doing what needs to be done when you do not feel like doing it. That is why discipline matters. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not misery. Discipline is love with standards. Discipline is care with structure. Discipline is a promise you stop breaking. When you wake up, when you said you would wake up, you lay another plank. When you work, when you said you would work, you lay another plank. When you stay away from what weakens you, you lay another plank. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. And one day, you look back and realize you are no longer standing where you used to stand. You crossed. Not because life got easier, not because people helped more, not because the world suddenly became fair. You crossed because you built the bridge with your own hands. Most people never do this. They stand on one side of the river and stare at the life they want. They complain about the water, they blame the weather. They envy the people already on the other side. But envy builds nothing. Complaining builds nothing. Waiting builds nothing. Only discipline builds. And the crazy thing is, the first steps do not even look important. Drinking water instead of poison. Reading 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour. Saving a little instead of wasting a lot. Going for a walk instead of staying stuck in your head. It looks too small. It feels too simple. That is why people disrespect it. But your life is always shaped by small things done long enough. A single drop of water looks weak until it falls in the same place for years and cuts stone. A single missed day looks harmless until missed days become a habit, and that habit becomes a life. Let that settle in. You do not become strong by talking about strength. You do not become focused by posting quotes. You do not become successful by wishing harder. You become those things by training your actions until they obey your values. That is discipline. It is your ability to say yes to what matters and no to what steals your life. It is choosing the long reward over the short comfort. It is saying, I may be tired, but I will still move. I may be scared, but I will still act. I may not feel ready, but I will still begin. That is how confidence is born, by the way, not before action. After action, not from thinking, from proof. Every time you do what you said you would do, you hand yourself a small piece of proof. And proof changes a person. Proof tells your mind, maybe I can trust myself again. Maybe I am not weak. Maybe I am not finished. So tell me, how much longer are you going to stand on this side of the bridge and call it bad luck? Because the truth has not changed. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. Now let's go deeper, because a lot of people hear that line and still do nothing. Why? Because they want the harvest without respecting the seed. They want the result without honoring the root. They want the fruit without working the soil. Life does not work like that. A seed is one of the simplest pictures of discipline you will ever see. You put it in dark soil. You cover it up. You water it. You wait. For days, nothing. For weeks, maybe nothing. And if you did not understand how growth works, you would think your effort was wasted. You would think the dirt swallowed your work. You would think the silence meant failure. But under the ground, things are happening that your eyes cannot see. The shell is breaking. The roots are stretching. The life inside is waking up. That is what discipline looks like in the beginning. Silent, unseen, unclapped for. That is why so many people quit. They do not see quick results, so they assume nothing is changing. They go to the gym for 6 days and quit because the mirror did not applaud. They study for a week and quit because they still feel behind. They save money for a month and quit because their account still looks small. They pray, work, heal, rebuild, and then stop because the outer world did not move as fast as the inner one. But the seed does not grow because it is watched. The seed grows because it is watered. Think about that. Your job is not to pull the plant out of the ground every day and ask if it is working. Your job is to keep watering, keep showing up, keep protecting the soil. Some of you are destroying your own future because you keep digging up the seed to check for proof. A new routine needs time. A stronger body needs time. A cleaner mind needs time. A different life needs time. We all say we want change, but real change asks for faith in the unseen stage. That is where discipline becomes holy. It keeps going when the room is quiet. It keeps moving when nobody notices. It keeps planting when there is no sign of rain. And let me say something important here. You are not behind because the fruit has not shown yet. You are behind only when you stop planting. There is a big difference. A delayed result is not a denied result. Slow is not dead. Quiet is not failure. Hidden is not wasted. Let that settle in. The world trains us to chase fast pleasure, fast food, fast likes, fast praise, fast answers, fast escape. But the best things in life grow slow. Trust grows slow. Respect grows slow. Wisdom grows slow. Strength grows slow. Discipline teaches you how to stay in the slow season without losing heart. It teaches you how to keep giving to your future when your present feels empty. And the beautiful thing is this: every seed you plant changes you before it changes your life. The man who wakes early changes. The woman who keeps her word changes. The person who keeps reading, training, praying, building, saving, and trying changes. Even before the money comes, they change. Even before the body changes, they change. Even before the door opens, they change. They become the kind of person who can carry what they are asking for. A lot of people want blessings they do not yet have the habits to handle. They want success, but not the structure. They want growth, but not the routine. They want harvest, but not the season of dirt. But discipline prepares your hands for the weight of your own prayer. It makes your character strong enough to hold what your heart keeps asking life to bring. No wonder discipline is the bridge between you and success. It does not just move you forward. It makes you ready. It does not just change your results. It changes your capacity. It makes you less fragile, less distracted, less easy to break. And one day, when the fruit finally shows, other people call you lucky. They will see the tree, but they will not know about the mornings in the dark. They will taste the fruit, but they will not know how many days you watered dry ground with tired hands. They will admire the bloom, but they will not know how often you almost quit. That is okay. Seeds do not grow for applause. They grow because that is what life does when it is fed. So let me ask you something that matters. What are you still expecting to harvest from a field you keep refusing to water? Because whether you feel it today or not, the law still stands. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. And now we come to the part most people avoid. The part where discipline stops sounding poetic and starts sounding painful. Because sooner or later, life feels heavy. So let's talk about weight. Not the weight on a barbell, the weight of responsibility, the weight of disappointment, the weight of getting up after you failed again, the weight of being lonely while you build, the weight of changing in front of people who still know the old you. That weight is real. And here is the thing about weight. It does not care how inspired you were yesterday. It only responds to strength today. Think about a push-up. Simple, basic. Everybody knows what it is. But the beauty of a push-up is that it tells the truth. You cannot fake it. You either go down and push back up, or you do not. Your body must do the work. Your muscles must answer the demand. That is how discipline works in life too. The hard conversation, the early alarm, the extra study hour, the lonely workout. The saved dollar, the closed mouth when you want to react, the turned off phone when distraction is calling your name. These are life push-ups. Simple to understand, hard to repeat, and yet that repetition is exactly what makes a person strong. Every rep matters, every rep counts, every rep builds something. People think greatness comes from one giant moment, but most greatness is just ordinary effort, repeated until it becomes extraordinary. One push-up is nothing. 10 feels better. 100 over time changes your body. The same with discipline. One honest day may not change your life. 10 honest days start to wake you up. 100 honest days can make you unrecognizable. That is why you cannot judge your future by one rough morning, one weak week, or one bad month. You have to keep doing the reps. No excuses, no drama, no retreat, just reps. The trouble is, many of us are not tired from work. We are tired from the fight inside ourselves. We say we want one thing, then feed another. We say we want peace, then live in chaos. We say we want discipline, then make a deal with distraction every night. That inner split drains you. It makes even small tasks feel heavy. But when your actions and your values finally shake hands, something powerful happens. The weight is still there, but you carry it better. You stop wasting energy arguing with what must be done. You just do it. That is freedom. People think discipline traps you, but really, discipline frees you. It frees you from mood. It frees you from impulse. It frees you from the prison of always starting over. Let that settle in. The strongest people are not people who never feel weak. They are people who built a habit of moving while feeling weak. They built a habit of doing the rep anyway. They built a habit of saying, I do not need the perfect feeling to take the right step. Think about that. There will be days when your mind is loud. Days when your body is tired. Days when old habits pull on your sleeve. Days when nobody sees your effort. Days when the results look small. Do the rep anyway. Read the page anyway. Make the call anyway. Take the walk anyway. Save the money anyway. Shut the door anyway. Pray anyway, try again anyway. This is how self-respect is rebuilt. Not by hype, not by noise, not by pretending, by proof. The kind of proof only you and your private choices know about. And once you start collecting that proof, something changes in your eyes. You carry yourself different. You speak different. You recover faster. You stop panicking over hard things because hard things are no longer strangers. You have met them before. You have pushed against them before. You have survived them before. That is why discipline is the bridge between you and success. It turns weight into strength. It turns pressure into power. It turns weak promises into solid character. And character, my friend, is what holds a life together when feelings fall apart. So answer this, honestly. When the load gets heavy and nobody is clapping for you, which version of you walks into the room? Sit with that. Because the answer shapes everything. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. But there is another layer, maybe the deepest layer of all. Discipline is not only about what you do, it is about who you become each time you do it. That is why I want you to picture a brick. Nothing flashy, nothing magical, just a brick. One brick by itself does not look like much. You cannot live inside one brick. You cannot call one brick a home. But stack enough bricks the right way, day after day, and now you have walls, you have shelter. You have something that stands when the wind comes. A life works the same way. Your habits are bricks. Your routines are bricks. Your standards are bricks. Your choices are bricks. The question is not whether you are building. The question is what you are building. Because every day you lay something down. You lay down strength or weakness, focus or chaos, honesty or excuse, patience or impulse. Brick by brick, choice by choice, repetition by repetition, a life is formed. Many people do not understand why they feel so shaky. It is because they keep building with broken bricks. They skip sleep and wonder why their mood cracks. They keep bad company and wonder why their peace leaks out. They waste money and wonder why their future feels unstable. They break promises to themselves and wonder why confidence never stays. Broken bricks cannot make a strong house. Let that settle in. Discipline is the daily decision to build with materials that can carry weight. Good sleep, clear goals, honest work, clean habits, strong boundaries, time used with purpose. These are not boring details. These are structural beams. These are the things that keep your life from collapsing when pressure comes. And pressure will come. It always does. Life tests every house. A storm of loss. A storm of delay, a storm of rejection, a storm of temptation, a storm of success even. Yes, Success is a storm too, because if your foundation is weak, the very thing you prayed for can become the thing that destroys you. Money without discipline becomes waste. Attention without discipline becomes ego. Freedom without discipline becomes chaos. That is why building matters. Slow matters. Strong matters. Most people are addicted to appearances. They want a painted wall with no foundation. They want to look successful before they become stable. They want the applause of a finished house without the dusty hands of a builder. But real builders know something the crowd forgets. The hidden parts matter most. The parts no one sees. The groundwork, the measurements, the straight lines, the repeated effort. The decision to place this brick right, then that brick right, then the next brick right. Think about that. One disciplined morning is a brick. One kept promise is a brick. 1 hour of deep work is a brick. One time saying no to what weakens you is a brick. One time telling the truth when a lie would be easier is a brick. These things feel small in the moment, but houses are not made in moments. They are made in layers. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. And one day, you look around and realize you built a life that can hold peace, hold purpose, hold love, hold success. And maybe the most beautiful part is this. Discipline teaches you that you do not need permission to build. You do not need your old friends to understand. You do not need your doubters to approve. You do not need your family to clap every time you choose better. You do not need the crowd to agree with your standards. Builders cannot waste all day explaining bricks to people who love broken houses. Let that settle in. Your future does not need more talk from you. It needs more construction. It needs more quiet faithfulness. It needs more days where you stop asking how you feel and start asking what must be built before the sun goes down. This is where identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be disciplined. You start seeing yourself as a builder, a person with standards, a person with rhythm, a person who places the next brick even when the house is nowhere near done. That identity will save you on days when motivation leaves the room. So let me ask you straight. Whose permission are you still waiting for to build the life that is already sitting in your hands, brick by brick? Because the answer will show you what has been holding you back. And do not forget the truth underneath all of it. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. Now, let us talk about time, because time is where discipline either shines or gets exposed. Time is not loud, time does not shout, time just keeps moving. Morning to night, Monday to Sunday, January to December, quietly, faithfully. And while it moves, it is always asking one question. What are you becoming? The best picture for this is the seasons. You do not plant in the morning and harvest at noon. You do not scream at winter and make spring come faster. You do not rush a season just because you're uncomfortable. Seasons teach patience. Seasons teach order. Seasons teach that life has a rhythm bigger than your mood. Discipline is how you work with that rhythm instead of fighting it. There is a season to begin, a season to sweat, a season to wait, a season to gather, a season to lose leaves, a season to grow roots. Some of you think you are failing when really you are just in winter. Things look quiet, people are gone, the field looks empty. The progress is not obvious, but winter is not the end. Winter is where roots learn depth. Winter is where shallow things die off. Winter is where discipline proves whether you love the dream or just love the applause. Think about that. Anybody can feel excited in spring. Anybody can work when the sun is out and the progress is visible. But the people who change their lives are the people who keep their standards when the season gets cold. They still wake up, they still plan, they still train, they still read, they still pray, they still keep their word. That is power. Quiet power, mature power, lasting power. And here is why it matters so much. Time multiplies whatever you repeat. If you repeat delay, time multiplies regret. If you repeat distraction, time multiplies weakness. If you repeat discipline, time multiplies strength. That is why small choices are never just small choices. They are votes. Votes for the person you will become. Votes for the life you will live. Votes for the habits that will shape your next 5 years. We forget how fast time stacks up. One wasted night becomes one wasted week. One wasted week becomes one wasted season. One wasted season becomes years you cannot get back. But the opposite is true too. One honest morning becomes momentum. One clean week becomes rhythm. One strong month becomes identity. One disciplined year can put you so far ahead of the version of you that kept waiting, it will feel like 2 different lives. Let that settle in. I want you to picture yourself a few years from now, not as a fantasy, as a result. You walk different because you trust yourself. Your body feels lighter because you finally cared for it. Your mind is clearer because you stopped feeding it junk. Your bank account is steadier because you learned to stop leaking what you worked for. Your work is sharper because you trained your attention. Your peace is deeper because you stopped living in pieces. That future is not built in one grand moment. It is built in seasons, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one standard at a time. And yes, there will be storms, there will be setbacks, there will be days you slip, but disciplined people do not turn one bad day into one bad life. They reset, they return, they remember who they are. No shame spiral, no endless delay, no drama, just return. That may be one of the strongest habits of all. The power to come back quickly, the power to say, I fell off for a day, but I will not hand a whole season over to one mistake. That is wisdom, that is maturity, that is how winners protect time. So here's the question only you can answer. If the person you could become were standing in front of you right now, would he thank you for how you used this season? Or would he beg you not to waste one more day? Listen carefully now, because this is where the circle closes. Remember the first truth. Your life is not hard because you are cursed. It is hard because too many days have been handed over to delay, to comfort, to fear, to distraction. But that story can end here. Not next month. Not on some perfect Monday. Here. In the next choice, in the next hour, in the next promise you keep. Picture it. Picture the morning, a year from now, when you wake up in a room that feels different because you are different. Your shoulders are stronger. Your eyes are calmer. Your mind is not full of panic because you are no longer at war with yourself. You get up without bargaining. You move without drama. You work without begging your feelings for permission. You look around at the life you built, and you can trace it back to this moment, this decision, this shift. The workouts you did when nobody saw. The money you saved when nobody knew. The nights you stayed focused while others drifted. The times you told yourself the truth instead of another sweet lie. That future version of you is not a stranger. He is a result. He is waiting on your discipline. He is waiting on your standards. He is waiting on your willingness to stop breaking your own trust. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. Discipline is the bridge between you and success. Cross it tired if you must. Cross it scared if you must. Cross it slowly if you must. But cross it. Lay the plank, water the seed, do the rep, place the brick, respect the season, again and again and again. Because one day the pain of discipline will be gone, but the reward of becoming will stay. One day the old excuses will sound small. One day, the old habits will feel like clothes that no longer fit. One day, you will look back at the person who kept waiting and barely recognize him. And when that day comes, you will not say it happened by chance. You will know exactly how it happened. Choice by choice, day by day, standard by standard. You rescued your future with your routine. You changed your life with what looked boring to everyone else. You became powerful in private before life ever rewarded you in public. So if you ever forget everything else, remember this line and carry it like fire. No excuses, no waiting, no quitting, just building, just becoming, just crossing.